Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys my MLB end of season awards predictions before the season ends, of course, as the World Series is going on right now. So I'm basically going to talk about who I think deserves the MVP award, Cy Young, Manager of the Year, and Rookie of the Year award. And I'm also going to be doing something unique. I'm going to not only be giving who I think should deserve the award, but also who I think will win the award. Like, just who will get the award, who I honestly think will get it. So yeah, basically who I would give the award to, and then I'm also going to say who I think they'll give it to, actually. So if you guys understand that. So basically, first of all, we're going to go into AL MVP. We got Mike Trout. That's who I think deserves it. I mean, it's not really close. Mike Trout is just far ahead in every stat. It's kind of been like that every year, and especially this year. I mean, I think he's leading the AL in OPS, on base, slugging, all that. He's up there in home runs too. He's just Mike Trout. He does the same thing every year and just puts up amazing numbers. He's actually getting better and better every year. It's just unreal. The man's unreal. The only person that is close is Alex Bregman, and he's having a great year himself. I think his OPS is over 1,000, and he would probably win MVP most years if it wasn't for the man Mike Trout. So I would give the award to Mike Trout pretty easily, but who I think they'll give it to, I believe, will depend on the World Series. If the Astros win the World Series, I think they'll give it to Alex Bregman. But this is supposed to be a regular season award, remember that. But they're always biased to players on good teams, especially teams that go and win the World Series. Look at the last 3 years. Last year, 2018, Mookie Betts won the MVP. His team, the Red Sox, won the World Series. The year before, Astros won the World Series. Jose Altuve won in the AL MVP. 2016, Cubs won the World Series. NL MVP, Chris Bryant. I mean, that's just an example. They're gonna be biased to the team that won the World Series. I think Bregman will probably win if the Astros win the World Series. If the Nats win, without a doubt, it's probably gonna be Trout. I mean, the only thing that Bregman has against Trout is that he's on a good team. I think it's really dumb just because you can just switch Trout on the Astros. I mean, Trout himself could have just chose to play on a better team, and that alone would make him more of an MVP candidate, which is dumb because it doesn't change how good you are as a player to what team you're on and the team's record, you know? I mean, individual players do all they can to win for the team. Trout does it better than any other player by far, obviously. But it's just the way it is. He's gotten robbed a few years because of this, and I think if the Astros win it all, Bregman will get MVP. That's just my opinion. Also, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. Always make sure to comment down your thoughts about this. We can get discussion in the comments. Anyway, NL MVP, it's between Yelich, Bellinger, and Rendon. I think it's going to go down to Yelich and Bellinger. Rendon's had an insane season. I just think he's just not quite up there, and I would give the award to Christian Yelich. He led the league in OPS, on-base percentage, slugging, and on-base percentage, all of that. Cody Bellinger had a lot more at-bats, but Christian Yelich still had a higher runs created, he had about 3 more runs created, which basically means he produced more hitting with less at-bats, which is even better for me, because if he got to have as many at-bats as Cody Bellinger, he would have already won the MVP award, unanimous. It's just unlucky that he happened to get injured within the last 2 weeks, and that's why I think that they'll give it to Cody Bellinger. First of all, he plays for the Dodgers. It's a more popular team. Second of all, he was in the playoffs, and he did get injured in the last 2 weeks. I feel like Christian Yelich was a little bit forgotten, especially by fans, because he was injured the last 2 weeks, and I think that's going to contribute to the voters. And guys, remember, the voters are human. They'll remember what happened in the playoffs. You can't just forget that it happened when you're doing the voting, because it is a regular season award, like I said. But people also put in the playoffs. It's just what they do. And I think they'll give it to Cody Bellinger, although I believe Christian Yelich deserves it. But then also there is defense. Bellinger is better defensively. But looking at fielding percentage, Bellinger has a lot more outfield assists because he has a way better arm. But I still don't think it puts him above Christian Yelich. So let's move to the Cy Young Awards. AL Cy Young, Justin Verlander. It's a pretty close race between him and Garrett Cole, but I definitely think that it's him because he has a whip of .8. .8, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Garrett Cole's whip is closer to 9. I think it's like 8.89. That's still obviously amazing, but their ERAs are almost like the exact same. I think Garrett Cole's ahead in ERA by like 0.05, but I honestly think whip is a little more important, especially because Justin Verlander has like 100 points ahead of Garrett Cole in whip. So I mean, it's just really similar seasons, but Verlander kind of has the edge here, and I think they'll give it to him also. And the NL Cy Young. This is a really interesting race because there's not really one person that really ran off, like not one player that really had a Cy Young season, honestly. It's between Scherzer, DeGrom, and Ryu. They all had insane seasons, and they all had really similar seasons. All had ERA around like 2.5. All had similar whips around 1. But first of all, I'm going to take off DeGrom because his ERA was like a little higher. So between Max Scherzer and Ryu, their stats are almost the exact same. Again, ERA around 2.5, whip of 1. DeGrom is the only one that kind of had a higher ERA. It's like 2.8. So I got to go with Scherzer or Ryu. And I'm going to have to go with Scherzer because if the stats are that close, you just have to look at strikeouts. And Scherzer had 70 more strikeouts. I think Max Scherzer deserves it, and I think he will win it too. Especially because of how good the Nationals are doing. Again, I think there's a lot of bias into it, and the Nationals are making the World Series right now, so I definitely think without a question they'll give it to Scherzer. So Rookie of the Year, it's pretty much unanimous in NL and AL. NL, Pete Alonso led the league with 53 home runs, OPS 940, on base 360. I mean, numbers speak for itself. Just give him the award, of course. AL, Yordan Alvarez. He only played for like half of the year, but in this time, he literally had MVP numbers. 1.07 OPS, 650 slugging, 410 on base. He easily wins Rookie of the Year in the AL. So let's move to Manager of the Year. I think it's a really interesting award. And in the AL, I think it's easily Twins manager, Rocco Baldelli. Baldelli or Baldelli, I'm not really sure. But the Twins had over 100 wins. Who thought that the Twins were going to get 100 wins before the season? I don't think anybody did. What he did with the lineup and starting pitching to make it that good was just unbelievable. I don't know how he did it, but he did. He easily gets Manager of the Year for the AL. In the NL, it's a little more interesting. I think Mike Shildt, I'm not sure how to say these managers' names. I think that's how it goes. Mike Shildt, I think he deserves it because he won the NL Central with the Cardinals. It's always a tough division to win. With the Cubs and Brewers, you have to beat them, and they did. Also, in the NL West, Dave Roberts already won an award when the Dodgers won the division a couple years ago. I think last year, I'm not sure. NL East, Braves manager, I forgot his name, but he won last year. So I think it's Mike Shilt's turn, and I think this is his first year as Cardinals manager too. Same with Rocco Baldelli, it's his first year as the Twins manager. But I think they'll give it to Dave Martinez. This goes back to bias in the playoffs. Dave Martinez, national manager, he got them to the wild card, but in the playoffs, he's just made great decisions with pitching and hitting. He's a big reason why they're in the World Series. But again, it's supposed to be a regular season award. That's why I think Mike Shildt deserves it. All these awards are supposed to be out of the regular season, but they never really go like that because the voters, you can't just ignore the playoffs again. Like I said earlier, you just really can't ignore the playoffs. And what Dave Martinez has done in the playoffs is unreal. I have to give it to him for that, but I just don't think he deserves it because, I mean, they only got the wild card spot in the NL, which obviously isn't bad, but, you know, that's kind of what was expected to them out of the regular season, you know? So I would give it to Mike Shildt, but I think Dave Martinez will win the award. And yeah, guys, those are my predictions. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. We got the World Series. I'm probably going to be doing some reacting videos to that. Make sure you check out my last video where I reacted to Jose Altuve's walk-off home run to send the Astros to the World Series. And again, it's going to be an amazing World Series. And then after that, I'm moving on to basketball, so you guys should stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, comment, and I will see you guys next video. Peace.